As previously released on June 2nd at approximately 12:30 p.m., emergency personnel responded to the area of Kingsway and Stafford Street regarding an altercation and stabbing incident. The investigation has revealed that a minor altercation occurred between a 16-year-old male student and a 17-year-old male former student on the grounds of Kelvin High School. The 16-year-old male involved disengaged, at which time a third male intervened. During that time, the third male allegedly stabbed 17-year-old Brett Bourne, causing critical injuries. He was later pronounced deceased in hospital. As a result of the incident, area schools were placed into lockdown. Patrol and members of our tactical support team secured the area. Numerous individuals were identified and interviewed throughout the evening by members of the homicide unit. As a result of those interviews, a 17-year-old male was identified as a suspect and subsequently arrested in relation to the homicide. The investigation continues. Family notifications have been made and results of an autopsy are pending. Anyone with further information who has not yet spoken to homicide investigators is asked to call 204-986-6508 or Crime Stoppers at 204-786-TIPS. The Winnipeg Police Service would like to thank staff at Kelvin High School for their assistance and support during this very difficult time. Just going to backpedal here just so we're very, very clear with what we're reporting and with what we're saying. When we're talking about our victim, Brett Bourne, he is a former student. Okay? When we're talking about the suspect, the 17-year-old suspect that we're currently processing, he is a student. The 16-year-old that I previously mentioned involved in the initial minor altercation, a student. And it's best described as a minor altercation, whether there was some pushing, shoving, whether there was a verbal dispute associated to that. But at that point, I'm not aware of any serious injuries occurring. It does appear that the 16-year-old attempted to disengage and I believe entered the school trying to disengage from that particular individual. It was at that time or shortly thereafter the third male was in the area and certainly appears to have been armed, and it was at that time the victim was stabbed, and unfortunately fatally so. So as a result of us attending the scene, assessing that scene, working with staff who were of great help to us with respect to identifying individuals and moving our investigation forward, we identified a number of people that we believe were important with respect to moving the investigation forward. These were likely witnesses, and we've said it before, witnesses can certainly turn into suspects. So the individual that we have in custody right now was gathered at that time. It was someone that we had determined someone important that we need to speak to, not necessarily knowing that he was directly involved. And as a result of the ongoing investigation, as a result of ongoing interviews, he's been identified as a suspect, and I can tell you right now, charges have not been formally laid, but are expected. My understanding, these individuals know each other, whether they're acquaintances or friends. I can't go anywhere beyond that, but they certainly appear to know each other to some degree. And the only specific that I'm going to provide right now, that it does appear that there have been some ongoing relationship issues, and that appears to be one of the main reasons why things escalated to the extent that they did. I'm going to tell you, he was in the area when police arrived.
Not on school grounds.
Whether or not he was on school grounds or near the area of Kingsway and Stafford, he was identified and spoken to by investigators. As a result of those conversations, he was identified as a suspect later in the investigation, and is now facing charges. No, I don't know for sure, but it does sound, and based on what I've been able to gather, that it sounds like there have been previous relationship issues involving these individuals. And again, to what extent and what specifically was stated, I can't get into that right now.